NATO countries set a goal in 2014 to spend at least 2% of their economy's gross domestic product on defense by 2024. We checked defense spending numbers from NATO, and they show the United States does contribute a larger share than the other countries. This year, the U.S. plans to spend 3.5% of GDP on defense, more than all of its partners. Most NATO countries are increasing spending, but only 4 others are likely to hit that 2% guideline this year. 23 members will spend less than the benchmark, including Germany.
Ian Bremmer is president of the Eurasia Group and senior global affairs contributor for CBS News. Ian, good morning.
Good morning.
President Trump went after Germany for almost 5 minutes. A lot of sharp words are being exchanged at this summit. Is the NATO alliance in jeopardy?
Well, so far, what Trump has done is said, if you don't pay more, I'm going to make you really uncomfortable and be really rude in front of you. Okay. I mean, there's no or else. He hasn't said what he's going to actually do if they continue to underpay. And the Germans are not going to come close to the 2% commitment by 2024. They're good on all sorts of other commitments of social spending, for example. They're good on their climate commitments, but for some reason, not on defense. So the fact that Merkel and Trump really can't stand each other, and that this is really the part of the transatlantic relationship that is most rubbing against each other, was on obvious display at the G7. It's on obvious display as NATO opens. But so far, no direct impact on NATO itself.
But those without an understanding of history, can you explain why America shoulders most of the burden?
Well, sure. I mean, the fact is that the United States is the world's largest, sort of defense expenditure in the world. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the Europeans no longer faced those direct threats. The Americans still had bases not just in Europe, but all over the world.
Decided it was in our interest.
When Trump talks about spending 3.5% of our GDP on defense, he's talking about our global commitments. He's also talking about the fact that if you spend 20 years in the military as an enlisted man, as my father did, you get a pension for life. Yeah. And as the Germans have found out with the Greeks, it's really hard to rip those pensions up. I mean, 10% of our spending is on pensions, for example. So, I mean, there are lots of reasons why our defense spending is high. Trump has decided, for his own reasons, that he wants to increase that defense spending. Germany has decided, for their own reasons, they don't. But I'll tell you, when he goes after German former Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder on, for example, selling them out on gas, he has a point. Schroeder is an enormous embarrassment for the German people. He has taken enormous personal financial gain for making the German government more dependent, the German people more dependent on Russian energy. It's kind of like we ask today about Trump or the Clintons.
Former Chancellor Schroeder involved in that gas deal that the president mentioned today. Family meetings can be uncomfortable. Usually you have the uncomfortable conversations in these kind of diplomatic family meetings behind closed doors, not in front of the cameras. Clearly, the president was teeing up this question of gas with the cameras in front to sock him in the nose. Why do you think he did that?
Because he wants to make Merkel uncomfortable. He doesn't like any of these multilateral meetings. He feels like they are opportunities for the allies to gang up on the Americans. America's weaker. He takes a Chinese approach. He wants a one-on-one meeting where he's stronger, and he wants to link security to economics, just like the Chinese do. Like, they'll give you money if you play ball with them politically and on a security perspective. It's the same thing Trump is doing. On the Chinese, he said, you want to work with me on North Korea? I'll work with you on trade. South Korea, you want me to defend you? You better give me what I want in a deal. Europeans, you want me to complain or do something right on NATO? Deal with trade. It's linkage, and it's really not been the American approach. It's been the Beijing approach.
All right, Ian Bremmer, thank you so much.
Sure.